Now we can all agree that the more you draw, the better you'll be, right? Well, I think that drawing a lot is definitely gonna make you a master, but who can do that stuff? We all have things to do, and many people get burnt out by drawing too much, and it actually get counterproductive. This is the balanced exact system that made me get better over the years, while being sustainable and actually addictive. By the way, I'm Matt. I drew a whole 80 pages fully illustrated fantasy art book, and this is the exact system that made me study even during my project. Now, what I want to say in this video is that if we draw for too much time, we sometimes don't focus on the actual usual stuff, but we draw random shit, take breaks, and literally do less work than if we focused all the work in a smaller amount of time. This is why I created this 30 minutes plan that I'm about to show you right now. It's a 3 steps thing. So the first thing that you have to do is to give yourself a goal for the session. Now what I mean by this is that you have to pick what you have to draw during the session before starting. If you're studying, you have to know the skill that you're going to improve during the session even before you're starting to put the pencil on the paper. So for example, you want to get better at anatomy, so you know that all the drawing that you're gonna do during the session are gonna be anatomy related. It's like opening Netflix without having any idea of what to watch. We sometimes just browse the programs and end up scrolling on our phone with Netflix open, or either with a random sheet open or with nothing playing either. So pick a skill, quickly find some reference either on Pinterest or whatever you want, gather it before starting, and you know already what you're gonna do during the session, so you don't have to waste time on random stuff like looking for references. Little tip, you can make this even more fun just by giving yourself a prompt for the session. For example, if you're studying poses, don't just draw mannequins, but actually give yourself the prompt, for example, fantasy. So you're gonna draw the mannequins and then transform them into fantasy characters. If you add what you like in your studying session, it's gonna be much more fun. There's gonna be more probability that you're gonna start in the first place. By the way, good job if you're still here. You chose to watch this educational drawing video instead of scrolling and doing something useless. And this means that you're serious about your art, so you have my respect. You might as well just start following me to get value like this every single week. Now the second step is structuring your session. I usually structure my session into 30 minutes blocks. This is when I'm in a rush. Sometimes I do 1 hour, and if I really want to draw that day, I can do 2 hours. But in the bigger amount of time, focusing on the good stuff is a little more difficult, so make sure to do that when you're really free. If you draw 30 minutes a day, you're definitely gonna be ahead of the version of yourself that promised himself that he's gonna draw for 2 hours and doesn't even start, or just do some random doodling. So my session is structured like this. I do 10 minutes out of my 30 minutes of just quick gesture drawing. So if I'm studying poses, I open Quick Poses, this website that I'm showing, and I just do gesture fast drawing, 1 minute each or 90 seconds each. This gets my hands warmed up and loosened up, and I also get my mind into the mindset that I have to draw this particular thing. Then I use the other 20 minutes that are left to actually go in depth into a couple of poses that I chose to study more effectively. So if I like one of the poses that I drew in the 10 minutes quick sketches phase, I get the image, put it in front of me, and start to go into details in the muscles. For example, if I see an arm that I like the muscles on, I can just see what muscles I see, I name them. If I see a muscle that I don't recognize, I go and study it. This is basically the part where I have fun and where I learn the most. So I get warmed up in the first parts, and here is where I actually learn. If you study in perspective, you draw 10 minutes of quick landscapes, and then for the other 20 minutes, you get the images that you like drawing the most, and you try and understand the actual perspective behind it. You try to see, like for example, a tree, enjoy it a little better, to know how to synthesize leaves and all of this stuff that makes you actually learn. So if my session is 1 hour, it's not gonna be 10 minutes and 20 minutes, but it's gonna be 20 minutes of loose sketches and 40 minutes of in-detail study, and so on. It depends on the time that you choose to do the study for. But remember, this is just package study that you can put in your day, and it doesn't mean that you don't have to have fun and draw how much you want. This is just the study part. You study for 30 minutes a day, you're gonna get better. But if you wanna draw for 10 hours a day, make sure to include the 30 minutes study and then have fun drawing whatever you want, drawing on the wall. You can do whatever you want in the other time that you have free. But this is for people that are busy and that cannot add drawing in their life. If you only do the 30 minutes study every single day, you're gonna get so much better than people that actually promise themselves that they're gonna study 2 hours a day, every day from tomorrow on, and don't even start because 2 hours is scary, and they also don't even know how to structure their actual study session. So now you know. As I said, you can organize your life and add this little box kinda pill study session inside of your day. I would add just 1 or 2, otherwise it's gonna be a little fatiguing. So you add 2 sessions in your day, 1 for anatomy and 1 for perspective or whatever you wanna get better at. But how can you make sure that you do this every single day? There is a little mind trick that is called habit stacking. If you have an habit in your life that is already established, for example, you go to school or you go to work, you know you already do that. So if you attach the drawing habit like a magnet before or after this habit that you already have, because if you go to work every day and you know that you're automatically gonna draw after it, there is no way you're gonna skip it, because you can't skip work, so you cannot skip drawing as well. Of course you can skip it, but if you put a little bit of effort and use the habit stacking, there is less chances that you're gonna skip drawing. Now if you wanna study and have so much fun while doing it, you can watch this video where I explain how I did it and how I got addicted to it. Consider following me if you're serious about your art, and see you in the next one.